Okay, back by popular demand with another text game video. How to text girls, how to text for the best effect, which comes by way of the girl replying. So, whenever you text a girl, and this is basically the objective of texting, you want to get a reply. So, whenever you text a girl, you want to text in the sense that you're you're increasing the chances of the girl sending you a reply. Unless you're just fucking around, you're trolling or whatever the case may be. You're being self-amused, lighthearted, fun, playful. In those cases, you're not necessarily looking for the girl to reciprocate. But be as it may, let's get into it. This one, as you can tell from the title, deals with the length of your text messages and how you should actually structure it or structure them. Now, the thing is, you want to actually shorten up your messages, and I touched on this in some of the previous text message videos. Now, why you shouldn't write long ass fucking text messages? It's for quite a number of reasons, but let's deal with the first one. First off, you demonstrate and indicate too much investment, and you actually show the person that you're texting that you're too engaged. You're too sold, let's say, on the product, on the girl you're texting. And no one likes an easy buy. No one likes an easy sell, That's why, the classic cliche saying of be a challenge and girls love a challenge and so forth, it actually, rings true. So you want to always be a challenge, no matter what area or aspect of pickup you're dealing with. You always want to present yourself as a challenge to the girl. So when you're texting paragraphs upon fucking paragraphs and articles, the girl already senses that you're sold on her. And once you're sold, the game is pretty much over. The girl, she's not going to invest as much as you are. So that's one reason why you want to shorten your messages. You don't want to give the girl the wrong message that you're too invested and you're already sold on her as a person. This is why also in pickup we teach you to never tell a girl that you like her too soon. You always want the girl to be the one who initiate this, and then you feed off her. But for you to tell the girl that you like her, you're essentially telling her that you're already sold on her. And a lot of guys do this in pickup, meaning they do the contrary, which is to tell a girl that they like her from the initial approach. And I'll deal with that in another video. But for you now, at your stage of the game, you want to always keep away from doing that. Don't show your feelings too soon. Don't tell a girl you like her too soon. Don't show investment too soon. And by investment in this sense, I mean, don't write long ass fucking texts. Shorten them up. Shorten up your fucking text messages. And the beauty about this is you can gauge the girl's interest by whether her messages are longer than yours or they're shorter than yours. The person who shows the least amount of interest / investment is the one who has the leverage. They're in the position of power, let's say. So you want to always be the one who's in the position of power with the most leverage. But if you're sending 3-4 paragraphs back to back and you're writing these long ass fucking articles of text messages, you're already putting yourself in a position of lower value, and the girl has the leverage. Alright? So that's one reason why you should shorten up your messages. Secondly, and this is a classic mistake I see a lot of guys make, and I would do it also in the past. Guys would ask 2 questions or multiple questions per text message. And this is a big no-no. Alright? Only ask 1 message per text message. Alright, for instance, let's say I'm texting a girl named Lisa. This is how you don't do it. Hey Lisa, what's up? It's Kenny. What are you doing right now? Oh, and by the way, are you going to the show later? That is 2 questions within 1 text message. And what usually happens when you do that, when you ask more than 1 thing in 1 message, is You sort of bombard the girl with two questions, and what usually happens is the girl will elect to not reply at all because it's somewhat confusing. You're putting her through too much work. Basically, you're giving her too much work to do by asking her two questions in one fucking text. Okay, so in that sense, a girl would simply just not reply to your messages. She's not gonna kill her brain trying to answer two questions, in spite of how simplistic they are. So always be aware of that, guys. Only one question per text message if you're gonna ask any question, at all. But the moment you start to put 2, 3 messages or questions, the girl gets confused and she will decide not to reply altogether. And I know you've had that happen to you because it is very common. So you want to actually check back your messages with whomever girl you've been texting. And whenever you don't get a reply, you want to check and scan to see if that was probably the culprit. The fact that you asked too many questions within one text. So limit the questions to one per text. Okay? Now, I want to wrap up and say that, when it comes to texting girls, and the aspect of shortening your messages, it also harkens back to one of the points I made in the recent text game video, which is that, you want to always give the girl the impression that you have other things going on in your life. If you're writing a book or a paragraph or an article of text messages, the girl automatically, she instinctively knows that you don't have shit going on for you. You're probably at home laying up in your boxes doing nothing, and that is not attractive to any woman. So that's one reason, or another reason why you should shorten your messages. Shorten your fucking messages. And you can do this by actually eliminating stuff like and, by the way, so, anyway, however, whatever, sup. You want to eliminate these little things. Eliminate as much words as possible that would enable you to retain a coherent sentence. So, and I do this quite often. I would redact or I would take out and remove a lot of these sort of fillers that doesn't necessarily have to be there. Okay, so you would have like a text message of 40 words. You can actually reduce that to about 20 words if you really eliminate all the bullshit fillers that are not really necessary. Okay, so remember that, guys. If your text messages are longer than the girls on average, that means you're more invested, and that means the girl actually is in a position of more power, and she has the leverage. Okay, and it works vice versa. If her messages are longer than yours, it shows that she's totally invested in you and she's sold on you already, which is what you want. But you don't want to actually indicate to the girl that you are sold on her already. Okay, because listen, man, the reality is women take guys for fucking granted, and this is just what it is. Okay, and the more you show that you're invested and the more you show that you're actually interested, the less she becomes interested. The more you chase, the more she retreats. The less you chase, the more she chases. Okay, so try to wrap your head around that one. And this is why in pickup we teach you never want to chase women, especially over text. You always want to reserve or preserve somewhat of a nonchalant type of aura about you and be somewhat reserved. You only chase, or you only get somewhat aggressive when you're in person, because the girl is right there and she can't just like block you out. But when you're over text or you're texting a girl, she can simply just throw her fucking phone in the corner and you're ignored, you're dismissed. But in person, she can't just dismiss you, So there's a lot of social pressure there and so forth. So you can chase in person, but over text, over Facebook, online dating sites, you can't chase, or the girl will simply not respond, simply not reply to your messages. So by you sending these long ass fucking paragraphs of messages, she would simply not reply because it's too much to deal with. You're asking her too many questions within one text. You're giving her too much information. You know, so give her little bits and pieces of information, and you keep the conversation rolling that way. Don't send these fucking chunks worth of text messages. Okay, guys? Keep it short, keep it brief.